Let's say China.
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 China. China. China.
They probably should have took this app away when they had the chance, because the Chinese manufacturers just hit them folks with the Uno reverse. And right now, the Chinese manufacturers are the best content on TikTok. They said, oh, tariffs, you say? Oh, okay. American people, y'all said y'all like New Balance, Adidas, Nike. Bet. Oh, yeah. The manufacturer is such and such, located at such and such in Guangzhou. They do shipping within this time, and here are the products. I've seen the manufacturers for every brand anybody could possibly think of, from shoes and apparel to beauty products. One of the Chinese manufacturers said, oh yeah, you know how you pay such and such $100 for Chanel beauty products? Well, we only make them for $10. Listen, I don't know how this tariff thing is going to play out, but the way that the Chinese manufacturers are playing their hand, absolutely well done. 10s across the board. I told y'all in the years that I lived in China, I got everything under the sun because everything is pretty much made there. So to see people learning about the actual quality that's in China, because not everything is made cheaply, and learning about websites like Taobao, y'all better get to getting while the getting is good.
Hey, what's good everybody? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Chinese luxury brand manufacturers that have come out and spilt the beans and let everybody know that things aren't always as they seem. Maybe, perhaps, that little made in Italy and made in France stitched into your favorite designer goods might not exactly be telling the full story. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into it.
The Chinese manufacturers woke up and chose total violence today, and I've never supported anything more in my life. So in case you haven't believed it, hearing it come out of my mouth for the last 7 months, maybe you'll hear it and believe it coming straight from them. And I was already just about to make a whole series talking about designer clothes and what they actually cost, so this will be great to amplify that. And the algorithm will already be good and boosted.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. You know, those sophisticated European countries, which make you feel mysterious, royal, and thus luxury. Now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little, very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have an Hermes bag, and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else, like leathers, zippers, and hardware, remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China by our intelligent and diligent Chinese artisans. Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer, and be a real person. Buy a bag from us, from our factory in China. See the real world for yourself.
Wholesalers, it's 2024 and you still don't know who are the suppliers behind Dior? Their knitwears and cardigans are from Beyond Garments from Hangzhou. Beyond Garments is also the supplier behind many luxury brands from America and Europe like Sandra, Maj, Versace. Second, most of the Dior's cosmetic products are actually produced by Taiho Group, which is also the supplier behind Lancôme and Loewe. Third, 24-hour packaging technology from Shenzhen provide exquisite packaging and bags for Dior. Of course, Dior has their own factories in many countries, supplies different products for them. If you want to know more about this part of the information, tell me in the comment section so I'll prepare for my next videos.
China just exposed the name brand industry. They're saying that the stuff you're paying thousands of dollars for is the exact same as the stuff you're getting from VHgate. Not only are some of these things made in the same factory, but they're made with the same materials. From high-end name brands to Nike, Lululemon, Jordans, literally everything. And honestly, I am here for it because I am someone who used to buy name brand directly from like Louis Vuitton or The House. Keyword, used to. I don't do that anymore. I used to buy name brand when I was in my 20s, but when my frontal lobe developed, I realized that it was a waste of money because the quality of this expensive crap is the exact same as the dupe. For example, take this Louis Vuitton wallet that I got here. I spent anywhere between $800 to $1,000 on this. I don't remember the price, but it was up there. And within a month, the clip stopped working. You see that? It doesn't stay. My mom went and bought this same wallet and this purse from VHgate, and she only spent $100, and it's literally the same. You cannot tell them apart. The quality looks the same, the stitching looks the same, the material feels the same. And now China is saying, you don't even have to go through VHgate. You don't even have to go through Alibaba. You can come directly to us. We will send it to you.
FYP is full of these videos from China just sharing how they manufacture luxury goods and how they're trying to just go straight to the consumers now, and they don't even want to work with these brands, it seems like. I'm surprised more people didn't know that they'll, like, for example, if they're doing like a luxury bag, they'll probably make the majority of the bag in China, and then they'll ship it back to whatever country it is, and then in that country, they'll either add some finishing touches or they'll add their logo or some sort of something, right? They'll add something. So that allows them to be able to write made in Italy or made in America. Not 100% made in America. And I'm surprised more people don't know that. But like the quality for China products are just as good. We always had this assumption that China goods are not good, but it's all propaganda at this point. And all I see right now is that China is going to keep growing and surpassing all the other countries. This is a long time coming because for a really long time, a lot of people looked down on China, but now more people are traveling to China and seeing the reality of the situation, which I think is amazing because the tides turn, I guess.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did not see this being part of what would unfold in the trade/tariff war with China and America. It didn't occur to me that maybe China was gonna pull the rug out from under these huge luxury brands and expose where they're actually made in order to undercut the brands from these tariffs to deal with customers directly. That being said, I've always known that these goods have been developed and produced in China because I'm yet to come across a video of a Gucci village in Italy where there's some old lady who's a seamstress busy putting together a Gucci bag. It just didn't sound right, especially when you consider where these things come from and the volumes that they are produced at. It just didn't strike me as something that was authentically start to finish made in Europe, either Italy or France. So as shocking as it may be, there's an element of us as the end consumer wanting to believe the lie, because when you logic your way through the entire production process and the sheer volumes of Louis Vuitton or Gucci, Prada, or which one of your favorite brands you may think of, they never had the capacity to produce these in their home countries at a competitive price.
Who are the suppliers of Zara in China? The supplier of Zara shoes is Yuanli Tong Shoes. The supplier of Zara coat is Tongli Clothing, and is also the OEM factory for H&M. And the supplier of Zara's knitwearing is Wanli Weaving. I'm Luna. Comment and let me know what other suppliers behind the big brand you want to know.
Your made in Italy Gucci 80% come from Chinese factory. They just add the logo in Europe to make you pay the price of 10 times. Close your eyes. If your hammer says made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's no quality issue. It's luxury brand washing. Fun fact, the hand stitching your product, 42% are Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap. We do underrated luxury. Why pay 2,000 Europe for Parisian air? Same leather, same craft, just without the European fairy tale facts. Be a luxury rebel. You can shop on Chinese platform, such as Taobao 1688, Tianmao, Jingdong. You can even go directly to Guangzhou, Yiwu, Quanzhou, Wenzhou to buy. Don't know how to buy, how to pay, or arrange delivery? Just PM me. GoNest provide free shopping guidance and shipping services for you.
The Chinese takedown of luxury goods is wild right now because luxury goods are a huge source of soft power for the West. Soft power is power through things like culture, music, even language. Like US TV shows, that's a form of soft power because it makes the US aspirational and desirable in some ways. So with luxury brands, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, these Birkins, it creates this aspiration for the West, or aspiration to be European in a way, showing that Europe is this gold standard of quality. But when China's revealing that 80% of anything you buy that's Gucci is made in China, that over 60% of anything that you buy from Prada is made in China, that the only difference is that they send it over to Europe and then they stitch on a made in France or made in Italy little label, it's the ultimate pulling the curtain on the wizard in The Wizard of Oz and showing that there actually is no real magic and power in the person who's controlling Oz. I think it's going to be really interesting because there is such a stigma of something that's made in China. There's this perception of lesser quality in the West, but when you reverse that paradigm, when you show that all these goods that you thought were better because they came from Italy or France or wherever, when actually, in actuality, it comes from China, you're forcing consumers to reckon with why they make choices. So if consumers are going to start questioning the perceived worth of luxury goods, consumers are going to then realize that luxury brands are just high markup middlemen. They're just peddling an idea of something versus an actual quality good. And you can just then cut them out and go to the source. And so I think what China is doing right now, by shifting this perception of soft power, by taking back soft power, by showing real power in infrastructure and manufacturing, we're going to see a real flip in a lot of things, whether it comes to labor market, whether it comes to manufacturing, whether it comes to who buys luxury goods and perception of luxury as well. And so, I don't know, I'm just in it for the ride here.
Also, can we take a second to imagine the firestorm that's taking place in these brand HQs around the world right now? It must be absolutely insane, where they all come to the realization that they've been exposed by the actual manufacturers or people in the value chain, that now they can't deny it or distance themselves from the perceived value that they've apparently added to all of these luxury goods. I wonder how they're going to save their brand images. The coming weeks, months, and years ahead are going to be extremely interesting, especially considering that the luxury goods market was on its way down in recent years anyway.
I'm so confused because Hermes clearly purports that all of their bags are handmade in France and their watches are made in Switzerland. In their verbiage, there is no room for confusion about where their products are manufactured. There's no room for China. But in the beginning of that video, that nice Chinese man is clearly standing in front of what appear to be Hermes bags, saying that these are the bags that we manufacture. I noticed he didn't say Hermes when he called out all the brands like Prada, Louis Vuitton, Coach. But the implication was very clearly there. And if Hermes products, specifically their bags, are made from beginning to end in France, why would their valuation drop with the news that Chinese manufacturers are spilling the tea? It says right here on their website, the vast majority of our products are manufactured in France. And they talk about sourcing cashmere from Mongolia, blah, blah, blah. But absolutely nothing about China. And those purses that man was standing in front of were identical to Hermes bags, correct? So does that mean Hermes is lying to us? At least lying by omission? Or are their bags beginning to end manufactured, designed, whatever, in France? I'm so confused.
This Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Muti from Italy. And the second is Weinheimera from Germany. And the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? The thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil au Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil. This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat sealed edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one bag, the human resource cost will be 600 USD. The package, now this is not that expensive, it's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil. The only difference is one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD, but even better quality and craftsmanship.
I'm so glad that China is letting everyone know now, finally, that your Birkins came from China. They weren't made in the US. And when I ordered this from China, they made it after I ordered it. So it was especially made for me. It took about 6 weeks to get. But if you want to see, it's got the name. Kind of hard to see. It's got the name on there. It's a little dirty, a little smudgy, but that's okay. You got the key and the lock. It's beautiful. I still have the paper on the bottom. Honestly, I need to take that off. But let's be real, like, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to carry a Birkin just because you can't afford 20 to 40,000 or more dollars. You can have whatever you want for whatever price you want. Thank you.
I personally don't agree with that for that express reason, that people will assume it's something that it's not. And you as the person that's buying it are buying it because it's what it appears to be, if that makes any sense. Yet again, one, I'm a dude. And two, I've long gotten over the hype of designer. In fact, in 2012, I actually went to Guangzhou City in China and I saw for myself with my own 2 eyes a bunch of luxury goods. You can even get fragrances, you can get shoes, bags, everything that you can imagine is manufactured there and it's there in abundance. Some are replicas, some are made in the same production line. And having seen that with my own 2 eyes, the allure and the draw of these luxury brands in my mind kind of faded. And I never saw myself justifying a purchase of any of those goods ever again in my life. But hey, that's just me. And gents, if you think it's just the ladies, hang on tight to those kicks because you might be in for a bit of a surprise.
Who are the suppliers behind the Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la? First, Baocheng Factory, one of the world's largest OEM sports shoe manufacturer. It is like a Foxconn in the shoemaking industry. During its heyday, it has over 100,000 employees in just one of its factories in Dongguan. What even surprised me is that it owns an independent brand called YY Sport. It's like a distributor for sports shoes like Nike and Adidas, same as like Foot Locker in America and JD Sports in England. Second, Huajian Group. It is one of the largest OEM manufacturer for leather shoes in China. On the other hand, Huajian mainly offer the OEM service towards those big brands like Gucci, Tory Burch, Coach, Calvin Klein, etc. Sounds crazy, right? Alright guys, this is Luna. Follow me for more China sourcing tips.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs ship your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodged tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare cost, cheap dopamine, debt, and flagged wave property made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs feed you lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
Those are some strong words, I'm not gonna lie, and they kind of stung a bit, even though I'm not American. However, like I said in my last video, there's a commonality, a constant thread between all of our nations around the world where we go through the same or similar things, just with different accents. Once upon a time, people could feed their families, buy homes, clothe their children, educate them, buy a car, and do all of these things because factories and manufacturing was in your home country. Now, all of that has been shipped off overseas and you're left with very little in the way of opportunities in order to make something of yourself in this life. Anyway, that's it from me for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Will finding out that most of your designer goods are produced in China change your perspective and or your buying habits when it comes to designer luxury goods? If so, why? If you haven't already, hit the like button because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Hit the subscribe button because we're trying to run these numbers up and get to my goal of 1,000 subs. Thanks for watching. Peace.